Good morning and hello, Assalamualaikum. Welcome to the grand launching of SigningCloud powered by Securmetric Technology. I'm your host, Nabila Ismail, and thank you for joining with us today. Before we begin, here's the webinar rules that I would like to remind all of us. I would like to remind all the speakers and the audience that today's session is being recorded. Panelists, for best user experience, please mute your audio and disable your camera in the event that you may not be speaking and may turn it back on when you are speaking. And again, a very good morning. It's great to have you with us. Greetings to Yang Berbahagia Datuk Dr. Haji Amiruddin Abdul Wahab, the CEO of Cybersecurity Malaysia, Mr. Gopi Ganesalingam, the first Vice President of Global Growth Acceleration at Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation, MDEC, honorable guest speakers and media, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the official launching of SigningCloud. Now, today, as we are witnessing here the takeover of technology into the aspects of our daily and working life, security is the main challenge. The current landscape of working remotely and its own set of challenges that come with it has surely reminded us the importance of safeguarding digital employment. Securmetric, an acting regional player in the field of cybersecurity in Southeast Asia region. Having been in the industry for almost 2 decades now and backed by a strong internal R&D team with its own technology collaboration, Securmetric is persistently monitoring the development of digital security. Now, just a little bit of introduction about SigningCloud. It is a digital signature solution that would simplify your office workflow from printing, signing, and scanning to just sign and send, saving the cost of your time and paper. SigningCloud uses an advanced technology, digital signature. You'll know more about this in a bit as the CEO of Securmetric Berhad, Mr. Edward Law, will remark the opening of our ceremony today. A highly motivated and ambitious person that I know, with a great vision to lead Securmetric to be one of the leading digital security providers in terms of products and market development. Now, Mr. Edward, now the audience, would you please join me in welcoming our Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Edward. Mr. Edward, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Nabila. Hi, good morning, everyone. Such a beautiful morning here. And first of all, let me show my appreciation to all my distinguished guests, Yang Berbahagia, Dr. Amiruddin, the CEO of Cybersecurity Malaysia, Yang Berbahagia Gopi, the first VP of MDEC, Dr. Aswami, Senior VP of Cybersecurity Malaysia, Mr. Arif, the CEO of Ravcom Group, Mr. Yen, the CEO of MSC Trustgate. And also to welcome all the members of the media, members of Securmetric, business partners, customers, SigningCloud fans, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for attending this excited official launching for SigningCloud. And before I start, I would like to share with you a table, next. So a table of the country in Southeast Asia that actually having the Digital Signature Act, okay, or similar law in place. And very clear that you should notice, in fact, Malaysia is the first country in Southeast Asia who introduced Digital Signature Act back in 1997. And since then, over the past 23 years, we do see a lot more e-government services started to adopt Digital Signature Act compliant or DSA compliant digital signature. A few very good examples can include like e-Polehan, e-Custom, e-Court, GPKI, and e-filing. However, in general, in the business community, the adoption of DSA compliant digital signature is still very low. Okay, and based on our observation in the past couple of years, we actually noticed that our neighboring country, in fact, are catching up the adoption for legal binding signature very much. For instance, today in Singapore, by using their national digital ID SingPass, one can already register the birth cert of your newborn baby completely online using digital signature. You can also register a new business online using digital signature. Whereas in Indonesia, you won't be surprised to hear that many bosses can now sign multi-million-dollar contract or investment using digital signature. They can do it even without stepping out from their office or from their house. Okay, and whereas in Vietnam, hundreds of thousands of enterprises already practicing submitting their EVAT report monthly online completely using digital signature. And e-invoicing now is a very hot topic in Vietnam. Okay, so by hoping of introducing SigningCloud, a publicly available pay-per-use digital signing platform, SecureMetric hope to bring and promote digital signature to the mass, okay, to enable more businesses to start enjoying the benefit of secure digital signature. Because now everyone can sign with confidence. Next. Let me give a little bit introduction about SecureMetric. Yes, we are definitely one of the regional digital security player originated from Malaysia. Now we have overseas subsidiary into Singapore, Indonesia, Vietnam, and the Philippines. And we carry a strong motto is to secure the world digital economy transformation by focusing into three main areas. The first one is to secure application. That is actually where we help software developers to protect their software against piracy. We also help developers to protect their source code integrity using source code signing. Okay, and with our runtime application self-protection, we can also help mobile application developer to protect their mobile app against potential malware attack. Second, securing digital identity. This is actually where SecureMetric is offering public key infrastructure, or in short, PKI solution. PKI solution is actually the core engine behind any organization or government who wanted to start issuing digital identity. And combined together with our multi-factor authentication solution called CenterGate, we can perform very strong authentication to ensure you are you before we allow you to transact. Last but not least, to secure online transaction by leveraging on strong PKI cryptography together with our digital signing solution, we can help our client to achieve the four very important trust pillars: authenticity, privacy, integrity, and non-repudiation. Next. And over the past many years, SecureMetric have successfully implemented many mission-critical digital security projects, not only in Malaysia, but also into countries like Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Myanmar, and the Philippines. Okay, we even done some project beyond Southeast Asia, for instance, into Hong Kong, to Egypt, to Tunisia. Right. Thanks. So in SecureMetric, we always carry a strong belief, why can't we? Especially when we notice our Western peer can make it, okay? We believe we can also make the same. So with this strong belief that have been long motivated the company to continue our investment into R&D with the intention to introduce more international standard digital security solution that will have global potential. And SigningCloud is our latest innovation that we actually design it according to a highly legit European security standard, EIDAS, okay, which the entire system involve multi-layer protection, multi-layer encryption, follow all the best industry practices, and very importantly, all the important cryptography operation are performed inside a highly protected hardware environment we call hardware security module. Today, going to be the official launching for SigningCloud, okay, in Malaysia. And this is just the beginning of our journey because we already start some dialogue with some of the overseas license agency with the plan to eventually also to integrate and to support the respective license certificate authority in their country. Because in secure metric, we share a common dream. Our dream is to make SigningCloud to become the first cross-border digital signing platform that can support respective legal binding digital signature. So ladies and gentlemen, now everyone can sign with confidence. If you have yet to sign up an account, please go and register a free account today and start enjoying the benefit of digital signature. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Edward, for sharing with us about the initiatives that Psychometric has been taking in the field of digital security. Now, to tell us more about our dignitary today, joining me today is Dato Dr. Haji Amiruddin Abdul Wahab, the CEO of Cybersecurity Malaysia. Dr. Amiruddin Abdul Wahab, or popularly known as Dr. Amir, is currently the Chief Executive Officer at Cybersecurity Malaysia, a strategic agency under the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, MOSTI, Malaysia, and the agency that monitors sovereignty of the country. He has more than 20 years of ICT working experience in the telecommunication and IT sector in the government, as well as in the semi-government and private sectors. Through his leadership at Cybersecurity Malaysia, Dr. Amir managed to contribute to Malaysia's achievement in attaining number 3 rank in the world in the 2014 International Telecom Union ITU Global Cybersecurity Index and becoming the first World Trustmark Alliance chairman to be reappointed to a second term, was selected to receive an ASEAN Award as the Outstanding Chief Information Security Officer Award. He has served as the chairman of Impartial Committee for Malaysian Software Testing Board, board member of the National ICT Association of Malaysia, PICOM, chairman of PICOM Information Security Committee. Dr. Amir holds a Doctor of Philosophy from the School of Information Technology and Electrical Engineering from the University of Queensland, Australia. Dr. Amir also holds 2 master's degrees, a master's in Business Administration from the University of Dubuque, Iowa, the United States, a master's in Information Technology from the National University of Malaysia, UKM, and a Bachelor of Science Engineering in Electrical Engineering from the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, the USA. Now, to get some of his insights into the topic, audience, please join me in welcoming Dato Dr. Amiruddin. Dato, you may take over the screen sharing now, and the floor is yours.
Okay, hello, can you hear me? Okay, Nabila, thank you. Mr. Edward Law, the CEO and Executive Director of SecureMetric Berhad, Mr. Gopi Gandasalingam, the VP of EBDEC, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullah, salam sejahtera, and very good morning. It is my pleasure to be here with all of you today for the launching of ceremony of the SigningCloud, And on that note, I would like to thank the organizer, especially Securmetric Berhad, for inviting me to speak this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, the advancements of digital technology is evolving at a rapid rate compared to previous decades. We are now highly reliant on the internet and digital technology in our daily lives, as well as in our business operations. According to a cybersecurity research company, Cybersecurity Ventures, there will be 6 billion internet users globally by the year 2022 and 7.5 billion internet users by the year 2030. So Cybersecurity Ventures also predicts that the total amount of data stored in the cloud will be 100 times greater in 2021 than it is today. This large amount of data includes public clouds operated by vendors and social media companies such as Think AWS, Twitter, Facebook, etc. Government-owned clouds that are accessible to citizens and businesses, and private clouds owned by mid to large-size corporations. Meanwhile, Cisco confirmed that cloud data center traffic would represent 95% of total data center traffic by the year 2021. So, to put it another way, cloud computing will wipe out data centers altogether over the next 3 to 4 years. So for an organization to reduce cybersecurity vulnerability and gaps, it needs to focus on 3 areas: people, process, and technology. So on the people side, the need to enhance the employee's skill and knowledge of the current and new technologies. It also needs to conduct regular programs for awareness among the employees and the management. From the angle of technology, there is a need to invest in new technology to ensure the solution for cybersecurity vulnerability are included. There's also the need to ensure systems are updated with the latest patches and software updates to enhance systems defense capability. And also to establish an incident management team to respond and take appropriate measurements on incidents reported. On the aspects of process, the need to identify, to review, and amend if required on the current policy and strategic approach. There is also the need to revisit the risk management and regularly identify risk appetite related to the new technologies and its implementations. Additional effort is also needed to ensure readiness as follows, but not limited to. The first, the organization's ability to change rapidly and flexibly adjust to a continuously disruptive environment. Second, organizations also need to review and enhance the policy and strategic approach to include digital solutions as part of the business requirements. And third, collaboration among different departments and functional areas within the organizations and customers to ensure processes and business flow requirements addressed properly. And this will include enhancing the cybersecurity features of the system. In recent years, ladies and gentlemen, we see that the traditional cybersecurity approach is no longer enough. This is because the traditional cybersecurity approach is unable to detect and tackle new sophisticated attacks, such as advanced persistent threat or APT type of attacks. So we must go beyond the technical domain and to adopt a holistic and adaptive approach, covering the 3 major components I mentioned, people in particular. Human are the weakest link, given human error and ignorance, and then process, and also technology regarding cybersecurity. In this context, Cybersecurity Malaysia delivers its services by developing and enhancing its capabilities as a cybersecurity technical agency through 3 major components, as mentioned earlier: people, technology, and process. So we aim to be adaptive in our approach by having situational awareness of the risk environment and adjusting our organizations to cope with the cyber threats. Adaptive cybersecurity encompasses predictive, detective, responsive, and corrective capabilities. It has been the mandate of Cybersecurity Malaysia to reduce the vulnerability of the digital systems while simultaneously strengthening Malaysia's self-reliance in cyberspace. When tackling evolving digital threats, our only option is to grow and continually advance our security strategies. Efforts will continue to be enhanced with the introduction of new technologies that bring with it cyber risk and cyber threats. So while various initiatives are being done, perhaps most relevant to the public are, in the context of cybersecurity in Malaysia, first, our CyberSafe program. And CyberSafe stands for Cybersecurity Awareness for Everyone, emphasize the importance and safeguarding internet users' safety and assets, including personal information, when surfing internet, especially social media sites. Second, on the CERT, Cyber Incident Response Team. Cyber 999, for example, is a security response center that provides public with technical assistance and incident handling in resolving incidents. And third, the Coordinated Malware Eradication and Remediation Project, or CMER, we call it in cybersecurity, to tackle the malware threats in this country. So in addition to our effort to assist the public in securing their cybersecurity needs, Cybersecurity Malaysia also has developed several guidelines for the public. Among others include, first, the Cloud Security Implementation for Cloud Service Providers, or CSSS guideline. Second, Cybersecurity Guideline for Industrial Control System, or ICS. Third, Cybersecurity Guideline for the Internet of Things, or IoT. And fourth, the Cybersecurity Guideline for Industry 4.0. So by making sure that individual citizens is well informed and constantly aware of their identity vulnerabilities, we hope to nurture a culture of cybersecurity across Malaysia. Collaboration with the various universities, social programs, and private companies have historically been very important to the success of cybersecurity in Malaysia. I am very pleased to see stakeholders from multiple sectors coming together today to further the shared goals. And it is also reassuring to see established companies such as Securemetric actively developing solutions that address the identity protection aspects of security, not only benefiting Malaysia, but also the regional countries around Malaysia. And so again, thank you to Securemetric for having me. And I look forward to Malaysian consumers having access to a best-in-class service, such as Securemetric, in our fight to keep our online users safe. Thank you very much. So I pass back to Nabila.
All right. Thank you, Dato. We know you are a busy person, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. And we don't stop here. Let me introduce you to our second dignitary for today, Mr. Gopi Ganesalingam, the first Vice President of Global Growth Acceleration at Malaysian Digital Economy Corporation, MDEC. Mr. Gopi is a finance professional and an entrepreneur who has served in executive and board positions in the Asia-Pacific region for the last 30 years. Mr. Gopi has worked in brand names like Matsushita, American Express International, Lucent Technologies, Telstra Australia, Salesforce.com, and Google. Mr. Gopi is now the Vice President of Global Growth Acceleration at MDEC, the government agency tasked with developing Malaysia's digital economy. At MDEC, Mr. Gopi is at the forefront of championing talented entrepreneurs by empowering them to actualize their business vision. Mr. Gopi is passionate about developing the Malaysia's nascent digital economy towards achieving sustainable and inclusive socio-economic development. His end goal is to connect and propel the global digital economies via government intervention, business chambers, aligning investors and funders, accelerators, corporate partnerships, and tech ecosystems, all of which will link global tech entrepreneurs. Mr. Gopi, without taking too much time, I welcome you to the stage.
Thank you very much for that very nice introduction. Yang Bahagia, Dato Dr. Haji Amiruddin bin Abdul Wahab, CEO of Cybersecurity Malaysia, Edward Lau, CEO of Secure Metric Group, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. COVID-19 has altered the work landscape, pushing businesses to implement remote working to continue the operations. We have all personally experienced this during the MCO, where we saw almost everyone going from offline to online, from working from the office to working from home. However, remote working requires higher reliance on tech. Remote working trend has applied tremendous pressure to companies to upgrade their IT infrastructure, including better access, better digital tools, and better cybersecurity precautions. Secure digital access to company resources and systems are now extremely important, as any attack can put a business in a very precarious position. The danger of cyber attacks has increased in Malaysia since the pandemic. The Star reported within a month since the start of the MCO on March 18, Malaysia saw an 82.5% increase in cybersecurity cases. A total of 838 incidences were reported to Cybersecurity Malaysia during that period. This is a jump from the 459 cases reported in the same period in 2019. Of the 838 cases, 152 of them involved local companies, while the rest were home users. Now, MDAC has always considered cybersecurity as an important aspect of the digital economy. Because of this importance, MDAC has rolled out numerous programs to assist the industry. For example, Annex Force program. This is a 4-week cybersecurity program that aims to train and develop the next generation of cybersecurity professionals. The Cyber 100 Innovation Challenge. This is to promote the development and the innovation of Malaysian cybersecurity technology. It aims to produce 100 local companies capable of creating solutions to the cybersecurity threats facing Malaysia. CSI, My Cybersecurity Immersion Program Youth, focuses on STEM and pre-university students to develop interests, and also has green lane for them to pursue cybersecurity courses at higher learning institutions. Empowering women in cyber risk management. This program addresses the talent gap by facilitating the reskilling of women who are keen to re-enter the workforce for a duration of 3 months. The Skill Up program, conducted by the Protection Group International PGI of the UK and the Asia Pacific University of Technology and Innovation APU, which covers various aspects of cybersecurity. Those who successfully complete this 5-day course are given the opportunity to attend certified cybersecurity courses facilitated by the Government Communications Headquarters of the UK. So, but specifically to the COVID-19, with more businesses going digital since MCO, MDAC has curated the following initiatives. The Cybersecurity Tech Relief, where free trials between 30 to 90 days of services from participating local cybersecurity companies were offered to businesses. The educational webinars and workshops that were organized, targeted at businesses and organizations to educate and inform them about the importance of cybersecurity for business continuity. The focus of the webinars and workshops were remote access, identity management, data protection, security monitoring, and assessment and awareness. As a company under MDAC's GAIN network, it's my great pleasure to say that Secure Metrics has been an active participant in our market access programs, resulting in an impressive expansion of its business footprint in ASEAN. The launch of their SigningCloud solution today further showcases their innovativeness and drive to further enhance the cybersecurity industry in the country. MDAC is proud of the SigningCloud solutions by Secure Metrics because, one, it is a digital signing platform to support multiple certificates of authority. 2, it has integrated support for REFCOM and TrustGate, 2 local CAs recognized by the MCMC. And 3, as Edward mentioned just now, the SigningCloud complies with the Malaysian Digital Signatures Act 1997. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, MDEC's pursuit to build a robust digital economy, or rather an ecosystem, continues in 2020. And we welcome collaborative partnerships with all Malaysian tech companies in the region, including Securemetrics, to jointly advocate awareness and to tackle our nation's pressing cybersecurity concerns. With that, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and wishing Securemetrics the very best as always. And don't forget, sign with confidence. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gopi, for the plenty food for thought that you have just shared with us. Moving on, to show you what we mean, I'd like to introduce the audience to the Principal of Public Key Infrastructure, PKI Consultant at Securemetrics, Mr. Lars Wagner. Mr. Lars has been involved in more than 40 PKI implementations of national PKIs, e-passport, LTE, and large Fortune 500 companies together with his Prime Key team and partners. The experience gathered during 8 years of being the head of both Prime Key's professional services as well as support organization has been valuable to understand the challenges of life cycle of a PKI implementation. Prior to Prime Key Solutions, Mr. Lars had a position as the manager of security infrastructure at Swedish Police as well as part of the Brussels Interoperability Group (BIG) and Swedish Ministry of Foreign Affairs Advisory Board for IT-related issues. Mr. Lars, please welcome, and you may take over the screen sharing if you have slides to share with the audience.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you all. I will see if I can get everything working here. So please let me know if you see the screen. I hope it will pop up for you guys.
Yep, your screen is
so thank you very much. So doing a little recap what's going on in EU. So the EU have been focusing on EU governmental strategies since 2007-2008. One of the main drivers for the digital initiatives has been to provide a 24/7 e-services for the citizens, where it's possible for retrieve and find both applications, documents, and information in a very easy and smooth way for the citizens. It's also part of the paperless society, and it's also a way for the governments to ensure that the information is actually, the quality of the information is increasing when it comes to the validation of all information. It's also a strategy to be able to distribute the information between the governments, to be able to prevent the user to refill in the same information that's already stored somewhere within the government. So to be able to go to the next level where you're starting to use digital signatures, the different member states in Europe need to harmonize the electronic signature laws and the digital initiatives and the laws and regulations around it. So during the years, the EU has created what we call the eIDAS regulation. It stands for Electronic Identification, Authentication and Trust Services. So the eIDAS regulations allows each country to have their own electronic identity schema that defines how a user, what the user is, the ID of the user, and so on, and still be able to have the interoperability between the states. And that's part of what the eIDAS regulation are part of. There are different actors in EU providing the electronic IDs for the citizens. As Sweden, for example, we're using mainly the banks initially. And Norway, Denmark, they are using private companies as well as insurance companies, and Portugal, Belgium, they're using governmental initiatives to provide the electronic IDs. So we have a wide variety when it comes to the electronic IDs and who is actually issued them. Still, the electronic ID needs to be valid at the same way that it's valid in Sweden. For me, it has to be valid when I enter a Spanish or a French internet site or doing transactions based on my ID. So in short, it's the ID in Portugal should be valid in Sweden at the same level. A signature provided under the EIDAS schema should be valid in France as well as in Belgium, and so on. I think you get the point on it. So this is the main driver for everything. So the concept itself, it's actually defining the trust services within Europe, since Europe are focusing on what we call the single digital markets. So the EIDAS is based on electronic signatures, electronic seals, timestamps, and that provided all across the borders within Europe. So we actually reaching out 508 million consumers in 27 member states. And we have today 200 trust service providers within EU providing certified electronic services for the citizens. So looking a little bit about the EIDAS, I need to talk a bit because it's actually focused a lot when it comes to our legislations today. So we have electronic signatures. We do use it locally and remote, and electronic seals. So I need to find the right slide, sorry for that. We do provide them, or you can say like this, EIDAS in short is actually two parts. The first part is what we call level of assurance. That means how well the person's identity is established at the time of the enrollment of the electronic ID. There are three different levels of the level of assurance. It's low, substantial, and it's high. Low means that you have limited knowledge of the person that actually have the ID. When it comes to high, you probably have gone through a process where you actually have identified the user based on face-to-face or similar, based on really good knowledge that this is the right person. The second part of the schema is what we call level of signature. The level of signature is how well the signature, how you have established the signature itself. And that have also three levels. The first level of the signatures the first level of signatures are based on simple electronic signature, advanced electronic signature, and you have the qualified electronic signatures. The easy way to describe it is actually that the level of signature is actually how well do you have protected your signing key, as well as how high have you established the level of assurance of the person. So to be able to have a qualified electronic signature, for example, you also have to have the level of assurance high to be able to match that. Without having a good established person behind the ID, you will not be able to have a qualified electronic signature. Still, most of the electronic signatures within EU, they are based on the advanced electronic signature schema. There are use cases where you need to have the qualified signature, but it's pretty rarely how it looks like. So looking at what sectors is increasing the digital signatures. Of course, all sectors are increasing the digital signature. It's part of the digitalization of the euro. Still, the bank and finance services are the main drivers. It's not too surprising since they historically have most of the transactions in their use cases. But still, cross-border transaction drives digital signing even more. You do have new type of organizations that are global and will enter this market, and they reuse the already existing EID schemas between each other and support the community based on the digital services that they provide based on that. We also have the Payment Service Directive within EU, where actually we have something called trusted payment providers. And those payment providers are able to do transactions, including your bank account, without being a bank. And that's part of also the signatures where you actually have to sign a transaction for a trusted payment provider to be able to move money from your bank account over to companies and so on. So the markets are really changing. E-health, of course, has been part of the initiative for a long time. Today, especially after COVID-19, actually the e-health applications or e-health providers are creating new electronics to be able to have the initial meeting with a doctor, to have minors as part of the first step going into the e-health system to get treatment or meeting medical professionals and to get medical prescriptions. We have online prescriptions in most of the EU countries where you actually are able to get the doctor to electronically sign your prescription and add that into the national drug system and any pharmacy to actually collect your medicine based on that. It's also to able to authorize person to be the authority for you, to be able to represent you and get your medical prescriptions based on electronic signings as well. Government and municipalities have changed pretty a lot, and they are even focusing more on online services. Due to the pandemic as well, these kind of offices is actually closed. So you need to have a pre-registered appointment towards the government or towards the municipalities to actually meet people today. So based on that, they're really pushing to get more of these services online. So self-service is both easy way for the governments and municipalities to keep the persons out of the premises, as well as it should be easier for persons to be, or citizens to get the services, even if it's hard to meet up face to face. I think still the small medium enterprising, it's actually where you can see most of the digitalization currently, since they adopting all kind of processes from the sales process to the purchase process, e-commercing, e-invoicing, e-taxes, everything is actually increasing rapidly within EU currently. There are new initiatives all the time, and that's why we the latest years have had many new trust service providers. As I said, we have a total of registered trust service providers of 200 within EU. So looking a little bit on the platform, so more and more, just as we heard earlier, it's the signing as a service is the main way people go today. It's very easy to have the electronic signature as a cloud service because it's made what I said here, easy signing function. You just send it out, you have an API you call, or you just log into a web page and you will have the service already done for you. Very easy, very convenient, and it's very boxed in this kind of solution. So based on a service to provide that service is perfect to have in the cloud, to be honest. The question will come in the future, and I will talk a little bit because of the EU initiative to be stored elsewhere than the cloud. Many companies have restrictions on how they will be able to provide the information. There will still be on-premises solutions, but in the end, it comes down to volumes and the control over the information. Most companies, as far as I know, will go for the the cloud-based solution. eKYC, it's something everybody talks about here in Europe. It hasn't really happened that much yet. One of the main reasons is actually the old providers of the EIDs, the electronic EIDs from early 2008, 2010. They are still providing the services, and they are really not too thrilled to change, I think. It's a little bit costly for them, and yeah, so it will come over time. It's mainly the new actors that are having new initiatives and a little bit different requirements when it comes to enrollment that are looking at this kind of new functionalities. So still, it's the traditional enrollment by face-to-face for the initial part, and then the second part will be based on renewals, where you use the already existing ID to renew the ID or to have a second ID. So a little bit about what's coming in the future for EU. So EU have focused a lot on their digital strategy. So they say technology that works for people, fair and competitive digital economy, open, democratic, and sustainable society. That's the key words for them. They have a lot of budgets, especially now as part of the pandemic, to recover, as they call it. So the EU budget for 2021 to 2027, it's 9 billion euro. And it's distributed through what EU digital, or what's called EU Digital Innovation Hub, where companies can request funding or seeking help to be able to get innovations and applications and programming out on the market that should support the society. So based on the digital signature, since we have that pretty well established now in Europe, we see that it's missing new services. So new services that we need is actually what we call the ID broker. We also need more interface when it comes to the signing and sealing functionality. Validation service will also be extended, and mostly the preservation service is something that will come up as a result of the digital signature. The ID broker is actually an identity management broker where you actually mapping the different EID schemas or the identity authentication schemas between the countries. It's also supporting new methods like mobile phones or other parts that could be used as well within the schema, depending on what functionality you're seeking. It will also provide single sign-on for the authentication when it comes to digital signatures or other business applications. And it's based on the standard protocols as SAML, OpenID Connect, and OAuth. The signature generation and sealing service, as we had it already, we had the advanced electronic seals and electronic signatures. Still, there will be new protocol to integrate with the signing solutions, as well as new formats and standards of the signatures. Validation service will also add additional functionalities. One of the main features is to have configurable signature validation policies that defines how the validation of a signature will occur. it also needed to have better reporting when it comes to the validation, to be able to add it as a validation report when it goes into archiving as a second step. The preservation service is archiving, more or less. It's the way how to be able to get it's the way how to get the information preserved over time, more or less. There will be 3 different profiles as the suggestion lies currently. One of the profiles will add only the digital signature into the archiving. The second one will also have signature and the general data combined into the archiving. And then the third one will also add the information from an evidence point of view, where you can have logging and additional information about the creation of the signature into it. Then the storage, as I mentioned a little bit, the question will be, where will the storage be? There will be different storage models where you have the long-term storage. You will be able to have a temporary storage just during the transaction, or you can be without storage completely. So the preservation service is focusing on evidence of records and the sustainable of the information over time. It will require timestamping to be able to re-timestamp, as well as adding additional signatures on the information. Then we have the last part of these kind of new technologies that we will go to, the qualified electronic delivery service. From a legal perspective, the proof of delivery will be very similar to what we have, what we call registered mail, where you have to sign to get the information, so you have control over what has been delivered and how, if the recipient will have the information in its hand or not. This will occur between 2 trusted service providers. So each service provider will have information on how to extend information between each other. And then the customers will have accounts for this service within those service providers. So you will be able to send a message through the service provider that are registered with protected delivery to be able to say that, yes, you have received this information. You cannot deny this in court of law that you have this knowledge. It will also increase the confidentiality and the integrity. So this is the AIDA's ecosystem at a glance. You will have the different ID management service, signing and seal service, validation service, preservation service, and electronic delivery service. So that's the backbone in the coming solution in EU. So the digital innovation hubs have been part of making these platforms happening. A lot of these platforms are already out there, and some of the new platforms are currently going under the development. But it's focusing to be implemented, and mainly public administration, transport sector, energy sector, and construction sector, just to lower the amount of paperwork that's combined with this. So thank you for me. I hope you got some use of that. And I think over to you guys down in Malaysia.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Lars, for enlightening us on the digital signature trends in Europe. I guess we could really appreciate Mr. Lars' time, because he is streaming right from Sweden, I believe, and it's almost 5 a.m. over there now.
Yes.
Yep. All right, now moving forward, let's have some fun elements here. I always like to say we like to spice things up. From the wit and creativity of our staff at Psychometric, we will now be showcasing you a short movie that was produced in-house by our awesome Psychometric staff entitled Work Life During COVID-19. Please enjoy the movie. You must have had encountered broken processes at work. When this happens, it certainly gives you frustration, despair, helplessness, dreadful feeling like you're at the end of the world. You'll be constantly doubting yourself. This is when it happens.
Chloe, I need you to print this. I need it by tomorrow. It's urgent.
Why me? When you're in a rush, that's when the world decided to go against you. In a digital era, there are still manual works to get documents printed and signed. Seriously?
Hey boss, where are you? I need you to sign some document. It's urgent.
Yeah, Siti. I'm in the office. Can't you see me?
Let me get to your place. Hello boss, where are you? I'm right in front of your office, but you are not around.
Oh, Siti, I'm actually in the other room. I'm actually starting to practice social distancing.
Finally boss, you are here.
Ah, Siti, what do you want from me, huh? Why you look so pale?
Boss, I need your sign here.
Okay. No ink one, ah?
No, not this one. You need to sign at this color. Not this
Oh,
one.
right.
Communication and physical distance complicate the process even further.
Oh, hello, John. How can I help you?
Why you are coughing so hard, Eddie? Are you good? Did you check with the doctor? Okay, by the way, I'm calling you regarding my document. I have sent you 2 weeks ago, but I haven't received any reply from your side. Could you just check, please, for me? I need it urgently.
Okay, sure. 1 second. I did send the email 2 weeks ago, and I sent another reminder the day before yesterday.
So you're blaming me now to not checking my email, is it? Bro, I have 3,000 email. I cannot go through one by one. Just give me a favor and send me one more time, please.
Yeah, sure, John. I can do that for you.
Don't forget to go to the doctor.
Sure.
If only there's a solution that can solve their issues.
Yes, finally. Yes. Yes, finally. Come on the paper.
SigningCloud, sign with confidence. One solution, one for all. All right, there you go. I hope you had some fun watching the short movie. And we don't just stop there. Now let's have a comprehensive and a panel discussion going on from here. Today, we are very honored to be joined by our honorable speakers with each distinct background in their field of expertise to share their insights with us. To introduce our guest speakers today, we have Dr. Aswami Arifin, who is a Senior Vice President of Cybersecurity Responsive Service Division. And Dr. Aswami Arifin, or also popularly known as Dr. AA, is a cyber forensic strategist with more than 24 years of working experience in cyber security, policy development, security assurance, threat intelligence, incident response, and digital forensics investigation with various law enforcement agencies and provided expert testimonies in court. Next, our guest speaker is Mr. Gopi Ganesalingam, who had just given the speech out at the beginning of the webinar session. And he is the first vice president of Global Growth Acceleration at Malaysian Digital Economy Corporation, MDEC. Next, we have Mr. Loh Nien Jing, who is a CEO at MSC Trustgate Sendirian Berhad with over 20 years of technical and management experience. He began his career as a network engineer at SCS Computer Systems. Subsequently, he joined HP Sales Malaysia as a technical consultant focused on network security, network and system management. Mr. Loh leads the team at MSC Trustgate that championed the development and provision of PKI systems and solutions and have helped businesses like financial institutions, healthcare, and government agencies transformed from paper-based processes to paperless through MSC Trustgate's document signing and digital signature technology. And lastly, we would have our CEO at Psychometric, Mr. Edward Law, to be moderating throughout the panel discussion. So from here, Mr. Edward, I would like to pass the floor to you.
Thank you, Navida. Hi, guys. So today we are going to discuss, about a topic of legally binding digital signature as a catalyst for digital transformation. I think this is a very interesting topic because, we really noticed that since the pandemic happened, we actually need to live into a new normal. Right? We have to do works, we have to run our business in a complete different way. I believe one of the common example is like many companies before this may not be so accepting work from home policy, but because of this MCO, for instance, even some of the company until today, they still continue this work from home policy. And even for myself, I do notice some of the team members, in fact, since MCO, when they work from home, they tend to be much more productive because they have to work day and night, Monday to Sunday. Yeah, there's no off day. Okay, so thank you very much for all the invited guests to be with me today. I would like to ask Mr. Gopi the first two questions. The first one is actually to ask, as MDEC is the leading agency that is driving digital transformation in Malaysia, MDEC is also positioning Malaysia as the heart of digital ASEAN. So what does the post-COVID-19 business landscape look like from your opinion? Pass to you, Gopi.
Yeah, sure. Let me just switch on my mic. Is my mic on? Yes.
Yes.
So that's actually a very important question. And I addressed it in my latest thought piece that appeared in July 2020. And I quoted the insights from McKinsey & Co., where McKinsey says there are 5 factors that are shaping the next normal. And the first one was we spoke about the metamorphosis of the metamorphosis of demand, where demand is going to be changing, and even B2B decision makings are switching to digital sales in a very, very big way. So what that means is entrepreneurs must be mindful that the accelerated digital adoption has made consumers prone to brand switching. Previously, they were very loyal to brands, but today, because it's all on the internet, it's all digitally available, there are trials, there are free users that you can try. So people tend to brand switch quite easily. The second point that I would like to make, that question is the altered workforce. The workforce has changed. More companies offering a hybrid working model where employees are partially at the office or at remote locations like myself today. I'm at home and taking this call from home. Interestingly, this new model promises greater access to talent, increased productivity to lower costs, more individual flexibility, and improved employee experience because of a better work-life balance. So what entrepreneurs need to know is entrepreneurs need to reimagine their workforce to optimize output because people's mindset has changed. The third point I would like to talk about is the changes in resiliency. Companies are now decreasing the number of items they sell to reduce the cost and avert risk associated with disruption in the supply chain. And so entrepreneurs should consider this strategy and explore new methods of being resilient, pivoting, including divesting idle assets to increase cash at hand. The other one, which is important, particularly in cybersecurity, is a regulatory uncertainty. The growing political pressure from legislation to protect local economy activities could lead to statism, no movement, a political system where the state has substantial control over social and economic affairs. This may have an impact on existing government policies and a backlash on global free trade. So what McKinsey is saying that entrepreneurs need to be agile to manage this regulatory complexity, and we're going to see more of this. My last point before I hand it back to you, Edward, is the evolution of the virus. Because there's no conclusive evidence to suggest a definite end to COVID-19. And we are seeing some signs of that. Hopefully it stops, but yeah, we're seeing some signs of that. And varying health standards continue to be applied. So what this means is after reopening the economy, some countries had to reinstitute lockdown measures after the resurgence on infection. So we as entrepreneurs and industry, the fluctuating impact of the crisis continues to place entrepreneurs on unstable pastures that demand greater readiness for other unexpected adversities. So we need to be always mindful and resilient and careful. Long answer, but I thought it was an important answer.
Very good. Nice question. Nice answer. Yeah, definitely. I mean, with this new normal and also uncertainty about how soon, the situation can be really overcome.
Yes.
I think entrepreneurs like us really have to adapt ourselves faster, into the new normal. Yep. That is also the reason why we introduced SigningCloud on time.
Yes.
All right.
Very good. Well done.
Since actually, I want to ask the second question to you as well, because it's also a little bit related. It's actually known fact that COVID-19 has accelerated digital transformation for many organizations. But what are some of the area or trends of digitalization that companies are likely to focus on post-pandemic that MDEC encountered?
Sure. So we've been watching the last 3-4 months. Obviously, the biggest tailwind came for the e-commerce adoption. E-commerce adoption actually shot through the roof. Every e-commerce player we know said that the business has gone up. So e-commerce adoption is one. With e-commerce adoption came the contactless payments as well, e-wallets and contactless payment. So that also had a lot of tailwind. And obviously, when you can't go out and everything goes online, then the digital marketing, digital sales, everything it's going onto the digital platforms. We're seeing more electronic point of sales systems coming up. We're seeing a lot of the traditional retail going onto online. So yeah, there's a huge uptake on contactless payments, POS systems, the cloud HR payroll systems, CRM, procurement systems, ERP. All these are beginning to be getting traction now. So cloud, basically, all cloud platform solutions are getting a lot of traction.
Yep. Thank you very much. Okay, next, I would like to ask the expert, Dr. Aswami, since you're actually leading the Cybersecurity Responsive Service Division. I got one very interesting question. I believe all the media will love to hear from you. Okay, So as the Cybersecurity Malaysia is the government agency, take charge on cybersecurity emergency response, incident handling, and digital forensic.
Yeah.
I just want to ask whether so far did Cybersecurity Malaysia receive any reported cases involve forgery of electronic signature?
Okay, thank you, Edward, for the question, and thank you for inviting me to this occasion. Since COVID-19, we can see that a lot of people embracing IT and whatnot, working from home, and in terms of the statistics that being received by our national service, national program, Cyber 99, is increasing a lot. And the number one is on the fraud cases or fraud incidents being reported to us. I would like to share with the audience that if anything happen, be it individual or organization, they can report to Cyber 99. And if there is anything got to do with domestic inquiry, or you would rope in law enforcement agencies, then it be transferred to another services. We call it cyber CSI. It's not like the cyber CSI drama. In one day, everything can be resolved. So with fraud, there are many kind of fraud or forgery in that manner. But with respect to forgery of a document, based on my experience, more than about 6 or 7 years ago, most probably due to digital signature, a lot of company embrace digital signature and whatnot. So the in terms of the CIA, we call it confidentiality, integrity, accessibility, and also very important, the non-repudiation is being practiced most probably. Because why? Cybersecurity, we are only a national specialist agency. So the onus is on the victim to report to Cybersecurity Malaysia. So back to your question, the risk, the number of the fraud with regard to document fraud is getting lesser, and we have got a case previously in terms of appointment of a person. That means they are using electronic signature, whereby it is not secure. It can be forged. However, during that time, by using forensics methodology and whatnot, we are able to see the timestamp. And by working with the chemistry of department, because they need to see in terms of the biometric part, not only on the digital part, but also we are working with the chemistry of department to see the pressure of the signature and whatnot in terms of digital. So I would say that during the early days, the risk is there, the cases is there, but lately, when even though through COVID-19 pandemic and whatnot, we are seeing lesser and lesser in terms of document forgery or document fraud.
Thank you, Doctor. I believe the decreasing is because more users actually start switching to digital signature, yeah?
Yeah,
So
you are right.
For us.
Yeah, I must say in terms of for digital forensics, we are looking at a chain of custody. So we do a lot of forensics analysis based on scientific, factual findings and whatnot. So with regard to the new things that being today being launched by Psychometric, I would say this is more of a chain of trust.
Yes, thank you. All right. So, okay, I have the next question to Mr. Yan, the CEO of MSC Trustgate. As we all know, Trustgate, MSC Trustgate, in fact, is one of the first licensed CA, in Malaysia, the first two, okay, whereby they actually was awarded the license by MCMC back in 2000. So I'm actually very sure Trustgate have went through the toughest moment, because during the early years, not many people understand what is PKI, all right? And how would you see the acceptance of PKI, especially in the area of Digital Signature Act compliant digital signature over the past few years, and perhaps during the pandemic of COVID-19? Mr. Yan?
Yeah, thank you. I would first of all want to thank you for inviting me. On the acceptance, I agree with you. As you mentioned that the acceptance of digital signature in Malaysia in the past has been relatively low, especially in the private sector. And most of the projects or applications that use digital signature in Malaysia, right, were initiated by the government. Some of the examples are like government PKI, e-courts, the LHDN, the e-filing, as well as SSM. But last year, the healthcare sector had shown some interest in adopting the digital signature for signing their e-prescriptions because of the encouragement from the Ministry of Health. So we have worked with a few healthcare providers to introduce this to the customers. During the pandemic, we have received many inquiries about digital signatures, and companies, I think companies are more open now to explore using signing documents with digital signature, because this is due to the movement control. You can't go to places where you're supposed to go. So this will, with digital signature, will actually help them. So we foreseen that the digital adoption by Malaysian company will increase. This will actually help them in their productivity as well as efficiencies.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Yang. Yeah, definitely agree. I think similar to many Southeast Asia country, when the nation started to promote PKI, usually, the first few killer apps is surely actually from the government side. Okay, it was coming from the government side. Okay, I have the question back to Dr. A. From the cybersecurity expert point of view, do you think it's actually important and beneficial for businesses to start adopting Digital Signature Act compliant digital signature? If yes, then why?
Yes, my style of management is quite different. Not that conventional. Even though people say, by working from home, is it the productivity is high or low? To me, the productivity is much more higher. In fact, digital signature, I think, very important, because we have seen cases with respect to electronic signature, and I agree very much with the presentation of last just now, mentioning about forensics kind of investigation, data security, because data is the crown jewel, is the last mile of information security. We have to make the data secure. With respect to digital transformation is rampant. I mean, each country, not only in Malaysia, in fact in Singapore, they are smart nation. We are talking about a smart city. So this is timely, even though people see it, COVID-19 pandemic could be, a negative connotation or situation in a way. But at the end of the day, in terms of case resolution that we have to resolve, I can see that, in terms of digital signature is very important. Because why? In terms of verification is there, it makes our life easier, because we are also cyber frontliners during this pandemic situation. There's a lot of time with regard to intrusion, incidences and whatnot. We are being called to go on site to do some kind of investigation. So it makes my life easier. I can refer to the certificate authority. I can refer to the service provider by referring to Digital Signature Act 1997, working in harmony with Computer Crime Act 1997. So in terms of PKI, we have PKI expert. I don't have to mention about PKI. public key infrastructure, cryptography and whatnot, because in terms of forensic, everything is there. And at the end of the day, I would like to end my statement in terms of data security. Data forensic or digital forensic is there, it's timely, it's important for us to embrace the digital signature.
Thank you, Doctor. Yeah, just a quick note for the benefit of the audience. The Digital Signature Act 1997 compliant digital signature is actually can achieve non-repudiation, meaning to say if there's any dispute after you sign any document, the case can actually brought to Malaysia court. Okay, when you actually brought to Malaysia court, not only possible you can actually invite forensic expert from Cybersecurity Malaysia, but at the same time, the licensed CA who have issued you the digital ID can also be invited as a forensic witness, right? Because of the benefit, the beautiful structures of public key infrastructures, okay? So basically, it can achieve very strong tamper proof, for the online transaction. Everything with evidence, okay? Everything with evidence. Thank you. And Doctor, I have one more last question for you. As a business in the country are gearing up, their digital transformation, what are the cybersecurity tips Cybersecurity Malaysia would like to share to the public?
Okay.
They actually digitalize their businesses. What are the areas that they should take, serious note, especially during this pandemic? Yeah.
Yes, digital transformation is very important in order for us to be more effective. That is very important. And at the same time, the risk is there inherently. I mean, in terms of technology and whatnot. With respect to because we are doing a lot of threat intelligence, the attribution of the hackers is being divided into nation state for espionage, syndicate in terms of monetary, the motivation. So we look into what we call is the techniques and procedures, and at the same time we look at the operational, tactical, and also strategy. So there's a lot of government initiative, effort to transform Malaysia into a full-fledged digital country. So by having that, other than is very in terms of severity, there is a cyber CSI, cyber 99 and whatnot. But at the same time, we have a program, we call it cyber safe. And this is where we produce the videos, poster and whatnot. For example, like, a lot of people, doing online transaction. Even for myself, I do not allow my wife to go to the wet market because of the virus is there. There's no solution as yet, in terms of antidote and whatnot. So that's why the tips, to securely to double check whether the URL is from malicious hackers or malicious URL or not, and then to log off whenever you do transaction, and do not do your internet banking over the Wi-Fi. There's a lot of things. So for the audience benefit, I would like to encourage them, to go into our website. We call it a cyber safe. You can just Google it, safety for everyone. And at the same time, we are talking about digital signature, digital identity and whatnot. Security is very important. And on the data security, because as I mentioned earlier, the crown jewel, your sentimental photograph, photos and whatnot, that can be very precious to any individual. So you must be able to do backup, scan your computer, by using a valid antivirus software, password two-factor authentication, and whenever you go to the cloud is very important. The identity, access and management is very important. And I can see, I've done a little bit of, assess or evaluation with regard to a secure metric product. I can safely say that in terms of the compliance is everything is there. And rightly mentioned by Lars just now, by referring to the standard and whatnot, the compliance is already there. But at the end of the day, it's your personal policy, yeah, personal policy to adhere to the safest, access to any website or to the cloud and whatnot. You must, strengthen your personal policy. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. A. Yeah, just to say, in fact, our Santa Gate was completed common criteria EAL4 plus certification.
Oh, good.
Cybersecurity Malaysia.
Oh,
so
good.
Really compliant and meeting, international security standard is always our core focus, right? Thank you. Let me move on to Mr. Yan. The next question I would like to ask is, in your experience, were you able to share some of the common challenges when you try to convince your client, to go for DSA compliant digital signature?
Yes, I would like to share in 3 areas. Of course, number 1 is the onboarding process. Many of our customers require instant approval of the applications. Like many industry, right, the challenge is to verify the credential of an applicant, like the identity proving. So we are facing the same challenge as well. 2 is, there are many people think that electronic signature is exactly the same as digital signature. This is a wrong understanding because there is a huge difference. I think La mentioned that under the EIDAS, right, they have 3 categories. One is simple electronic signature, advanced, and qualified. So e-signature or electronic signature is more similar to simple electronic signature in the sense that any image or symbol or sound that associate to a data that being adopted by a person with the intention to sign is considered e-signature. Whereas digital signature, right, it embedded what we call is PKI to the signing process. So there's a way to identify who signed and we can verify the signature. Just like Dr. Aswami mentioned that you can actually identify who is the signature or who is the signer, and you can actually ensure that this signature is tamper-proof. So lastly, of course, one of the obstacles that we face is many customers would like to sign agreement using digital signature. Unfortunately, which require stamping. Unfortunately, right now we don't have like automatic e-stamping. So the customer still require to log into LHDN to manually upload the document if they require the e-document to be stamped. So this is the challenge that we are facing, especially the e-stamping part.
Thank you, Mr. Yan. I strongly believe LHDN definitely already started working into that. Hopefully, we will be able to start enjoying, modern e-stamping technology that basically also built using PKI as a framework. Okay. And one last question for Mr. Yan. As we all know that recently the government actually announced a paper in regards of our national digital ID, right? So you think this will give Malaysian digitalization a push? What do you think? What do you think, from the anchor as one of the licensed CA in Malaysia?
I certainly hope so. I think, yes, Malaysia is moving into digital economics, right? Government is seeking way to boost efficiencies, transparency in many areas. So the ultimate goal is to serve Malaysian better in maybe reliable or transparent manners. So there will be more e-services to be introduced by the government and the private sectors. So I think, but the challenge is to ensure that there is a reliable match between the online identity and the real one. So thus, it is timely for the government of Malaysia to introduce national digital identity. Based on the findings, I think recently by the survey done by PwC, I think they have a seminar that share with us what kind of finding they have able to capture. So many industrial, I think, will benefit from the introductions of this national digital identity. Some of the areas are like onboarding customer process, or cost saving through process improvement, and user experience improvement. So example is government can actually use digital identity, right, to national digital identity to distribute your citizens' benefits. Now they can actually know who can receive these benefits with this ID. Also, the bank onboarding process, like for instance, you want to open a bank account, you don't need to go to the bank. You can use your national digital identity to sign off or for this onboarding process. For signing documents, for instance, you can sign your rental before you even move to a place, so that you don't need to necessarily, if you are living in Kelantan, to come in to sign the rental agreement and go back, and then before you want to move here, then you drive all the way down again. So these are some of the processes that you can improve with national digital identity. So I think I look forward to the government's introductions for this national digital identity.
Thank you, Mr. Yang. Very informative answer. Just for the benefits of the audience, in fact, some of the neighboring country is already started, introducing their national digital ID. For instance, like Singapore, SingPass, as part of their Smart Nation initiative. Thailand government also driving really aggressively. And in Indonesia, we have seen, a few public CA, have been really moving on. The adoption is really, really huge. We see, tens of thousands of new users, on board every day. So I think this is definitely the trends. And like Mr. Yan mentioned, in the physical world, we have My Card. That is actually to authenticate and confirm who we are, right? But in the virtual world, if without a trusted ID, all right, it's very difficult for us to establish a solid trust, into the business, right? And Sweden, in fact, is one of the countries I would love to share as an example. In Sweden, they have the national ID, bank ID, that actually so widely accepted. I think about 80% of the population, have this bank ID issued by the clearing house. And today, with the bank ID, basically you can already access to more than 1,500 e-services, which means with the bank ID, you can almost do everything. You can register a newborn baby, birth cert, apply for identity card replacement, new passport, buying a house, and so on and so forth, almost everything. So I hope with the Malaysia National Digital ID to happen soon, Malaysia can really, transform faster, into our aim to be the digital hub in ASEAN. So I have keep the last question for Gopi, because I think now audience, after hearing so many excited things, perhaps many entrepreneurs or businesses out there already have eagerly, wanted to further speed up their digitalization, maybe also to start adopting SigningCloud maybe. So I have this question, is that for the benefit, for all the entrepreneurs who are here with us, what are some of the MDEC or government incentives to encourage business to go digital?
So let me start with, it's a good question. Let me start with MDEC. MDEC's always been very serious about adoption, because the success of the digital economy is all about the adoption. The success of transformation is about adoption. So adoption is a very big thing for MDEC. In fact, we have a very focused division run by Mr. Muhundan, who runs adoption team. And I can think of 4 different elements in relation to this question. One is the SME business digitization grant. Now, what that means is we are encouraging SMEs to go digital. whether you're shifting or pivoting from a physical store onto a digital store, whether you are now beginning to use back-end digital services. So what MDAC is doing is it's giving out an SME business digitization grant, which are 1-for-1, 5,000 ringgit to 5,000 ringgit. So that is one, and this is purely to help the SMEs. The other one that we just came out via the Penjana initiative is the Smart Automation Grant, which is about looking at how you automate your SME or how you automate your company into a digital, using digital tools. The third one is about 100 Go Digital. This is all about SMEs or companies that are going 100% digital. So 100 doesn't mean the number of companies, but going 100% digital. And this is to ensure that you find the right resources to go digital. The last one, which is our flagship, so to speak, is the Digital Transformation Automation Program, where we actually run labs, we identify, we work with you, and identify whether you're a corporate or an SME. We identify where you could start your digital journey and map that out. So, I mean, it's a very quick forum to discuss in depth, but I would encourage all of you to go into our website, which is www.mdac.my, and read about these 4 very, very important incentives that we are providing under MDAC. One other thing I want to speak about is the Global Growth Acceleration Division, where I come from, and we have an initiative working with the corporates. So we call it the Corporate Partnership Initiative, where we have actually partnered with 42 corporates, and we have understood their problem statements, and we have matched 571 homegrown tech companies to work with these problem statements for these corporates. So it includes technologies that are deployed in like fraud detection, to automation, to data entry, to installation of sensors, IoT, to optimize plant operation. So these are some of the things that we're doing as part of MDAC and trying to help in the digitization project.
Wow, so many incentives. Very nice. So guys, remember to visit MDAC website to find out more. And we have just finished a very interesting, session with all the distinguished guests. Thank you very much for your time, right? And I believe, okay, the media and the audience will benefit, from all the input. But in any event, let's say any of the media after this event, they wanted to reach out, for more clarification with the panelists. I will actually pass them your email to let them contact you, okay?
That'd be great. Thank you.
Okay,
yep.
So, Nabila, pass to you.
All right, amazing. What an intellectually stimulating discussion. Thank you, Mr. Gopi, Dr. Aswami, Mr. Loh, and Mr. Edward for your valuable insights. Now that we have gone through the comprehensive discussion, the short movie of SigningCloud, I guess it's time for the audience to watch an introduction clip of SigningCloud, Sign with Confidence. Let's take a look at the video.
You've probably heard of digital signatures. You use it to digitally sign documents, and the process is completed in just a matter of minutes. But there's more to it than meets the eye. A digital signature is a legally binding signature that is more advanced and secure than a regular electronic signature. It verifies the signer's identity, making sure that he is who he claims to be. The signed document is also tamper-proof, so you'll know if someone tries to alter the content. The SigningCloud document workflow also helps you distribute your document to signatories. Inform signatories they have a document to sign and collate all signatures in one complete document in the end of the process. With SigningCloud, you can safely sign your documents anytime, anywhere, on any device at a lower cost. Complete your document faster and securely and friction-free with SigningCloud now.
SigningCloud, sign with confidence. And that is that. Moving forward, now the next action item the online signing ceremony, I would like to invite Mr. Jeff Tan, the CEO of RentGuard Sdn Bhd. So RentGuard is a Malaysia leading property technology startup with MSC status that aims to solve property pain points by digitalizing its property operation. So in this event, we would have from our back end here, my colleagues will be sharing his screen and we will perform the online signing ceremony. So as you can see, the screen that is shared by Balkish, I believe, she is going through the platform. And so she is uploading an agreement letter right now that will be signed by both from Psychometric and also from RentGuard side. So as you can see, she is adding up the signees into the document, who are Mr. Edward and Mr. Jeff Tan. And here's the official engagement letter. And she is clicking the drop-down box to sign. And the date. And another sign box for Mr. Jeff. And also the date. And click send. So she's sending the document. So at this point, yep, so now the document has been sent to both to Mr. Edward and also Mr. Jeff. Mr. Jeff, if you are ready, you may share your screen to show you performing the sign act. Yep, I guess right now Mr. Jeff is sharing his screen and showing how he received the notification via email. And yep, Mr. Jeff is viewing the document right now before performing the signing. And that is the one-time password code that will be sent to his mobile phone for the purpose of authentication, the signee to sign the document.
Just one moment, I found it. Just give me a second.
Oh, okay. There we go. The code is entered.
So it's done?
Yep, now Mr. Jeff has completed the signing on his side. Perfect. Okay, now there's a screen sharing. So we successfully mirrored a mobile phone to the screen sharing. As you can see here, Mr. Edward is trying to perform the signing act on his mobile phone. So he is viewing the document right now. And he can click the box to perform the sign. And he confirmed the signing. Voila! Now both parties have signed the document successfully. The document is now ready to be printed out for the person who created the document and good to go. Thank you, Mr. Jeff, for willing to be part of our online signing ceremony today. We really appreciate your time. Okay, now moving on, moment of the truth, a moment that we all have been waiting for, not just you, but also me. We are going to have the lucky draw. As I have mentioned just now, we have 3 prizes, the iPhone SE, the iPhone 11, and the 13-inch MacBook Air. So to celebrate the launching of SigningCloud, for your information, for the past few weeks, Psychometric has been having an ongoing lucky draw contest whereby everyone who signed up a free account with SigningCloud would stand a chance to win these Apple products that I have just mentioned just now, the way this contest is conducted was by signing up a free account on SigningCloud, and by utilizing their own hands-on experience, and by completing the signature through a SigningCloud platform on the preset contest template in the SigningCloud, and then is how they are automatically enrolled in the contest. So, as you can see here, there's another screen, right, showing we have 3 blue boxes right in front of us in our room here. And we have Rose and Balkisha, my colleagues. And if you can see, the first box would contain ping pong balls, numbers ranging from 0 to 8. And then for the second and third box, have ping pong balls written numbered on the balls ranging from 0 to 9. And we would pick out 3 balls, and by using the listing, so by default, we would begin the listing at 1. And the 3 numbers picked out of those boxes will be the lucky draw. And now let us draw the third winner first. Let's go with the third winner first for an iPhone special edition. 1 second. Okay, can we proceed? Okay, so maybe Rose and Balkish can help us draw the numbers, the ping pong balls out of the boxes. So, what's the number? That is 1. So let me write that down. Our default number is 1, and then second digit is 1. The third digit is 9, 119. And the fourth digit is 4. So the number is 1194. Let us check from our database who is the lucky winner. The name is Muhammad Naim bin Ranizam. Congratulations, Muhammad Naim bin Ranizam. We have your email address, so we will definitely reach out to you via email address. So keep an eye out for our email. Congratulations. And for the second prize winner, for the lucky draw, the prize is an iPhone 11. As you can see here, this is what is showing. And let us proceed with drawing the number. So who's the next lucky winner? So the second digit shows number 3. So 1, 3, 7, 1, 3, 7, 8. 1, 3, 7, 8 is the lucky number. And let's check from database. What's the name? It is Nur Aiman Shahmin bin Nur Hisham. Congratulations. We'll reach out to you via email address. And the grand prize winner, a MacBook Air 13 inch. And then let's do the drawing number now. Who's the next lucky one? Drum roll. The number is 0. So 1, 0. 6. 1, 0, 6. 2. 1, 0, 6, 2. Let's see who's the lucky winner, the luckiest of today. Kelvin William Joseph. Congratulations. Congratulations to our very lucky winners. For your information, just now, with a total number of 886 participants signing up on our SigningCloud platform for the contest. So congratulations to the winners. We'll get in touch with you very soon. Keep an eye out for that. Now, we're almost toward the ending of the session. Now we will put up a launching video of SigningCloud. We will be sharing screen again now. right, with that play of click, we now officiate the grand launching of SigningCloud. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you had some fun and learned something new today. Have a good rest of your day. Take care. Bye.